Chances are, if you've ever been dropped and then distanced on a ride or in a race, then it's because your 5-minute power wasn't quite as high as it needed to be.
Yeah, but do we need to improve it? And how do we improve it? So coming up are 2 sessions you can do to help you, and also some technical pointers to help you out too.
I feel like it's gonna hurt.
Oh yeah. Right, Chris, we better start with the obvious one, haven't we? If you want to improve your 5-minute power, then we're going to have to train it.
There's no easy way and there is no shortcut. Quite simply, the best way to improve your 5-minute power is to get out there and do some 5-minute maximal efforts.
You can play around with your mix of seated and standing depending on your terrain, ideally aiming to stand if the terrain is steep and your speed is slower. If you're on the flat, then seated is going to be the fastest style, allowing you to travel further for the power you are producing.
The first point to note is that in order to improve your power output, you need to be fresh to enable you to push as hard as possible. So leave a good couple of days after any previous hard rides.
Then we want to complete 5 max efforts. And what we want to do is work on a double rest to work ratio. So that's 5 minutes hard work and 10 minutes rest. Oh, this is going to hurt.
Attack hard. We mean seriously hard in the first 2 minutes. You want to be questioning if you've started out too hard at this point. Then settle into a rhythm for the next minute before ramping up your final surge over the next 2 minutes. These are excruciating intervals. If you're not screaming to freewheel at any point, then you aren't trying hard enough. Push as hard as you can right through the final 30 seconds and drive it right up to the 5-minute mark, and then recover. In fact, I remember one time setting a new 5-minute power PB and then sitting in the gutter for a few minutes afterwards. Although it's actually best not to do that because pedalling gently will enhance your recovery, making the second effort much easier. So then after 10 minutes of gentle pedaling, it's time to hit it again and get into the next effort. Remember, go as hard as you can for as long as you can, pace that middle minute, and then really drive it hard to the end. Whew.
Once again, recover, hydrate, and refuel. And then it's on to the final one. Let's do it. And voila, a simple session to help maximise and increase your 5-minute power.
Yeah, good work, Hank. Quite enjoyed watching you do that. Now, the next session is a little more complicated, but the workload is vastly shorter. Although you won't be thanking us for it because it is absolutely savage. I mean, it's not the sort of session I did a huge amount, but when I saw it in my schedule, I knew I was in for a bad day.
Wasn't that bad, mate.
I don't think you tried hard enough if you're saying that.
6 times 30-second max sprint efforts. Make sure you're super motivated and rested for this one because they really do hurt, but they will help you build your 5-minute power.
Sprint for 30 seconds, recover for 2.5 minutes. Don't blame me for this, blame Steve Benton. He isn't here to defend himself, and they were his idea. If you can lift your arms comfortably after this session, you have not tried hard enough. This really is another sit in the gutter session for me.
Right, we mentioned we were going to help you improve your technique for these. We are going to strip right back down to the basics. Ensure your shoes are tight. Even a little bit slack in your shoes is a wasted energy, power, and speed. So pay attention to that.
Now, it's 2 minutes attacking effort, where you're out the saddle, really giving it as much as you can. Then for the middle minute, you can sit back in the saddle, but trying to maintain the effort. And then for the last 2 minutes, it's out the saddle, giving it everything you got. And once done, you'll have a new 5-minute PB. But it does come hard.
Then your position on the bike. Are your efforts on the flat? If so, it's your power to CDA that you want to improve rather than your actual peak watts. So focus on punching a small, clean hole in the wind, not thrashing on the bike or wasting energy by sitting up high. Look at the guys riding the pursuits on the track. Very smooth. But if you are riding uphill, and depending on how steep it is, then a more of a grabbing the ball by the horns approach might work better for you. Whilst this may not always be the fastest, possibly because you're not that aero, it is likely to give you much higher power numbers. You're able to use the leverage in your arms and your upper body to really drive the cranks down on each side of the bike. And this becomes especially effective in those final 30 seconds when you're really trying to go for that finish line. Don't forget to add in a little pacing. The sole goal of these efforts should be pacing it to get to the final pedal stroke and reaching exhaustion.
Now make sure you're fresh and super motivated when doing these sessions, and it's a good idea to leave around 2 to 3 days in between them.
That will really help you set new PBs and reach those peak performances you're looking for.
If you did enjoy this video, then remember to give it a big thumbs up.
And to check out more training videos, click down there.
Right, should we go, mate? Because it's getting a bit rainy now.
Yeah, I want my rain cape.
And it's super slippy on this road, isn't it? Whoa. Whoa.